time it.
You trying to time it and you fail. We are live. Hello and welcome. Hello. This is Total Spotfest. That over there trying to time the opening perfectly to give some inappropriate comment is Mr. Jamie Faulkner. I am JJ. And that is Austin Reddick right there. We are back at you. Dog farts and all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us this wonderful evening. Gentlemen, how are you doing now that sign pointing season has come to a close?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Nice long weekend of wrestling. In between manias, the wife and I watched the Lego Batman movie for the first time. Masterpiece.
Oh,
wow! You've never watched Lego? Oh yeah, I have kids, so
yeah. we were very late to the party on that, but that was phenomenal. Yeah, and a lot of wrestling. Got some wrestling coming up this weekend right here in Wichita for HCW. Our big show of the year, Legacy. Gonna be in an 8-man tag match, so that'll be a good time. Might go see some minor league baseball tomorrow night, weather permitting. So pretty solid week over here in Wichita.
Nice. Big Rob. Jamie just got softball.
I just go see softball. Yeah, Audrey's team got second this weekend out of 3 teams. But hey, you know,
hey,
silver. They got a plaque and everything.
It's still a medal. Back in my youth, right? I was around 15. I won an AAU wrestling national championship in a bracket of 3 people.
Hey, that's a national championship right there.
And Danny Hodge handed me that trophy.
So there you go.
Really?
They don't ask how, they ask how many. For me, it was 1.
Well, I'm counting my days until next weekend. I got actually some PTO. Me and my best friends from college, we're going back to Columbia. We got tickets to a concert. We're doing the old folk section in the rock concert, which means we got the balcony tickets and the separate entrance, and because the pit is a younger man's game. But we are definitely going to, and I've convinced them, we're going to try and relive our college years. It's going to be a colossal failure, but it's going to be glorious in the same breath. So
you're just going to drink beer and not talk to any women? I got you.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the women are going to be half my age at best. At best.
I mean, hey, you're hoping for that at that point.
We're not getting into my social life, but we do want to get into wrestling.
Saying, you want them to at least be half your age. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'll tell you guys a funny anecdote later. But if this is your first time here, you can join in the continuous burying of JJ lore by hitting that subscribe button down below. We do this every week. Hit the bell so you know when we go live. We do want to give a shout out. Our friends over at Fountain City Pro tickets are now on sale for the next show. Fountain City's Over You. If you don't know that reference, my emo heart weeps for you. Okay, but front row seats are already sold out. May 23rd at the Ball Event Center. Go to FountainCityPro.com, all the socials. We hope to see you there. We will be there doing pre-shows. So hit the bell down below. Know when we go live. Give us a big thumbs up. And should we dive right into it, boys? We got a lot of wrestling to cover.
We do. And you just mentioned the recurring theme of burying JJ, and I think the Picks title was on the line. So we definitely need to get into WrestleMania.
The title is on the line. We do put it online for 4 WWE pay-per-views. That is not a real belt. That is a fake belt. That does not mean anything to anybody except Jamie. So we'll let him have
this belt means I own yo ass.
All right. Well, putting my ass aside, we did have the title on the line. We had the usual suspects of villainy and tyranny in the FWO, being Jamie, Megan, Matt, who's never officially declared for the FWO. I know
he got a t-shirt.
He got a t-shirt? Okay, well, I haven't seen it. I'm just saying. I know he's Megan's boyfriend. So it's not officially part of the family yet. So we'll see.
He knows it's good for him.
if this man is smart, he would be. Yes. And the defector, the usurper over there, Austin Reddick. We also had a visiting Big Rob in the picks here from our fantasy league. Big Rob won his way into a pick, and he got picks in for this. So first and foremost, last year's Mania was excellent. This year's Mania was
Backwoods Squatch.
What's up,
up,
Squatch?
Backwoods Squatch? Good to see you back.
Yeah, it's been a while. This year's WrestleMania was okay, I thought, overall.
So this year's Mania was one really good show that they split up and watered down into two separate shows.
I think it's very well said. Because if you took bits and pieces from each of them, honestly, the stories that were most built, that's probably the best way to put it. Those matches meant something, and for the most part, they were excellent matches.
Yep.
The Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair match was absolute flames. It opened the show second night. I'm like, because this first night was a little just missed.
Now the main event first night.
End,
yeah.
But like that, Snoop Dogg's like, this motherfucker don't miss. It's like right here. It was just...
That was probably my favorite match of the weekend from WWE standpoint. It was very good. I think both the triple threat matches would be my two favorite matches, honestly.
Crushed it right there.
All right, Backwoods Squash. We will not tolerate Rush slander.
We will not.
Here in the chat.
We will not. No, Jamie, you are outruled on this. You are outruled on this. No.
I'm right there.
All right.
I'm okay. In fairness, I know we're not going to slander Rush, so I'm going to give you this. I've always been a adjacent Rush fan. Like, I like a couple other songs. I've always found Geddy Lee's voice like just ear piercing. But I have learned over the years, or my hearing has gotten worse. Either way, I am liking them more. If they were just instrumental only, they are bar none the greatest band of all time.
To be fair, Squash did say amazing albums. Two amazing albums.
That is fair. Yeah. That is fair. It wasn't quite slander, but anything diminishing their greatness.
One of my crowning achievements in life is the fact that I did get to see Rush as Rush, with Neil Peart alive. Their final concert, which
Reach. Does that count?
No, it does not. All right, so we had picks in. We're stalling here. So we had picks in. Everybody had their picks in. I did miss. There was one match that didn't show up on anything that I saw. So we didn't have the Randy Orton match on there, and there were two matches that I threw out when scoring because of card subject to change events that happened. Right? And
the thing was, I thought you should have left them because it really didn't matter. Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix, they're still Rey.
Oh, that's cultural appropriation, first of all.
No, they both have the first name of Rey.
They do both have the first name of Rey. You are not wrong in that statement.
I didn't culturally appropriate shit. I just said they both have the first name of Rey.
Two different people, Jamie. Two different people.
I didn't say they looked alike either. Damn.
It's two different people completely. It doesn't matter that they have the same name. That doesn't matter. Okay.
You should throw it away.
I threw it away. I threw it all away.
Who was going to win that?
No, we did because we were half and half. We were split right down the middle on that. So yeah,
I changed that one Saturday afternoon.
He sure did.
I originally was going to go Rey Mysterio. Then I was like, you know what? I feel like something else is up here, and I switched that. But
he texted me hours before WrestleMania, said I want to change it.
I thought both of them should have got kept. By the way.
Well, they both got thrown out, so it is what it is. Yeah. So they both got thrown out. So other than that, we had ton of matches. So, they opened tonight with Gunther versus Jey Uso. Now, spoiler alert, JJ did horrendous through this whole thing. Like we all knew. I haven't watched WWE in months. I watched only NXT. It was the only WWE property I've really watched at all in 2025. So I had no idea about any of these stories. And I was just throwing darts with a blindfold on. And it showed. So everybody else picked Jey Uso to win, which they were right. Okay. Jay got his big crowning moment. Now they can move Gunther into what I thought would be the main event or Pat McAfee angle. One or the other.
Yeah, choking out Pat McAfee and breaking Michael Cole's nose.
That's my world champion right there.
World Tag Team Championship. New Day got it back from the War Raiders in a very, that match happened match. It was fine. It was good.
Okay. While we're on that match really quick, because there was myself as well as many people on the internet saw the card announced for WrestleMania, saw Friday on SmackDown them announce a TLC tag title match for this coming Friday, and we're like, why is New Day versus War Raiders on Mania and TLC's getting bumped to SmackDown? Then the match happened, and they without explicitly saying it, once you see the War Raiders marching down to the ring in those silly ass Clash of Clans entrance gear, it literally was only on the show for product placement. That is the only reason that match was on WrestleMania.
Yes. The most classic WWE WrestleMania move there has ever been.
And it still wasn't as entertaining as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre match.
It wasn't. That was a classic.
Classic. Instant classic.
So we threw it out, but El Grande Americano did beat Rey Fenix in Rey Fenix's WrestleMania debut, which is fine. It's good to see him in there. I mean, they're going to do more stuff with Rey Fenix, more better stuff. I know. Jade Cargill in the easiest pick of the night, beat Naomi.
That electric chair power bomb she hit in that match was absolutely fire. That looked so rad.
I mean, that's Jade Cargill. She could pull off a couple moves that are ridiculous, but overall, this felt like any one of her matches she ever had when she was in AEW.
Yeah. A lot of night one could have just been an episode of Raw.
Yeah. Like, I hate to say it, Jamie. Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. That could have been on Raw.
Nah, don't say that, because that match was fire.
That match, though, it was okay. It was fine. I don't know.
The match was solid. It was clearly you've known for months, Jacob Fatu is over with the crowd. They're going to cheer him no matter what. So crowning him at WrestleMania, perfectly reasonable thing to do. Did you have to give LA Knight the U.S. title to drop it there? Like, could you not have done anyone else, not another guy the crowd loves, but slightly less than Jacob Fatu? Because that just seemed real rough for LA Knight to just eat that clean loss to the guy that's technically the heel in the match.
Like Shinsuke. Shinsuke had it, and then he won it, lost it to LA Knight, 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
Yeah. I mean, why just leave on Shinsuke if that's your plan? I mean, I know you want to get LA Knight the push, but I also want to give Jacob the push.
Well, Shinsuke is not. I mean, Shinsuke is not on the bench because I don't know if you heard, but Nick Khan says they don't put people on the bench.
Oh,
first of all, Nakamura benched himself after the takeover match with Sami Zayn. He has been mailing it in for the better part of a decade, which gets your money, man. I'm not hating. I love Nakamura no matter what. But
all right, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. I really thought they were going to give. I really thought they were going to give it to Charlotte. I mean, I really thought they were going to give it to Charlotte. I know Jamie hates. I still don't get Tiffany Stratton. I don't get the appeal.
I mean, I can give you 4 reasons why she's over with the fans.
Go for it.
Yeah, explicitly state the 4 reasons, Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay. Top left and right, bottom left and right. The WWE pervs are all over her. Not the fact that she's a phenomenal wrestler and she's only been doing it for a little bit of time and she's crazy athletic, but just because she's pretty, guys.
I mean, the whole 3/4 of the locker room is that, though. Let's be completely honest, okay? Completely honest.
So clearly, Tiffany Stratton is still a little green. Not super green, but still a little green.
She's not super green, but a little green, yeah.
I kind of like the way they work this match because Stratton's a little green. Charlotte's clearly rusty. She's had 2 matches and she was gone with an ACL tear for a year. I kind of liked that they went in there assuming it was going to be kind of sloppy. So they just kind of beat the shit out of each other. It worked for me. I enjoyed that match, and I've got to give credit where it's due to WWE because this was definitely one of those. don't have Charlotte win. That's the thing you always do.
Right.
And
right.
And they made the right decision. They tried to elevate a younger star instead of just propping up who's been around forever, which we did get a lot of as WrestleMania went on, unfortunately. But
it did, and I agree with that. It's just personally is like, and I understand the perv angle, okay, because there's a lot of that. I get it, but besides, I just don't. Tiffany doesn't like. I think there are a lot other younger female talent in WWE, both in SmackDown, Raw, and in NXT, that are better than her. Period.
No.
That's my opinion. I would
agree with that.
I'm just there.
I would agree with that, but at the same time,
go ahead.
I'll say, but I agree with that, but at the same time, this is always been a company that is going to push star power over talent, and your crowd loves Tiffany Stratton.
Well, they also push the star, and they also do push the talent. They make the stars they want to make too. There is a fair amount of that. Let's be real. So,
but she has it. Like she has the look. She gets over with the fans. I
hear that. Just she doesn't have it for me. Whatever. To each their own.
I get it. Like I'm still pissed off that Chelsea Green wasn't on WrestleMania, but here I am.
Yeah.
He should have been Randy Orton's mystery opponent.
Dude, that'd been fucking awesome.
That would have been a Mania moment right there.
Well, that wasn't who his mystery opponent was. Mystery opponent. So Andy Orton comes out again. I didn't see this match at all in any of the previews that I saw, so I didn't put it on our thing there. But Randy Orton versus mystery challenger, whoever, right? Who would you guys think going into this match before it actually happened? Who would you think it was going to be?
Sami Zayn.
I was on Nick Aldis train. I was on the Nick Aldis train.
I wanted it to be Nick Aldis, and because I wanted it, I knew that was not going to happen.
True.
I thought we were, and once again, I gotta give a little bit of credit to WWE for at least doing something different and interesting, because I just assumed it would be Solo Sikoa.
Yeah,
that just seemed like the WWE move is to trot him out there. Randy Orton gets an RKO in like 8 minutes, and then that's just your segment. But they threw a curveball at us, and it was glorious.
I did. I believe in Joe Hendry. So
amazing,
super big pop, Joe Hendry. Oh, so good.
I mean, just think about this: TNA's heavyweight champion was on WrestleMania, and they're not even a part. They weren't even the one who got acquired over the fucking weekend. It wasn't even them who got acquired.
It wasn't even put a pin in that. Which is insane. Well, I mean, we've been saying this for once since the working relationship. It's just a matter of time before they acquire him. But that statement that Jamie just said 15 years ago would have been insane to utter out there, right? Like, imagine peak AJ showing up to a WrestleMania, like 6-person ladder match or something so crazy like that. Like peak AJ. Oh, bro.
Yeah, but we did get peak AJ. We got Joe Hendry, but unfortunately, from what I've heard on the internet, Joe Hendry was buried. Is what I've been told.
Okay,
I utterly disagree.
I mean, this match was about Randy Orton. It's his 20th anniversary, and you got somebody out there for an 8-minute L, right? Take somebody from not your company that you have a decent working relationship with. That's a good move.
Yes, and for any of you dorks on the internet,
ooh, you're gonna get some knowledge.
That still think Joe Hendry was buried. Let me unleash the stash on you. This freshly manicured stash.
Let's go
of knowledge. So first of all, I'm gonna address 2 separate burials because I've heard both. First of all, Joe Hendry did not get buried. Joe Hendry got his full entrance and he got his shit in. And Joe Hendry's shit is literally just that's the biggest thing. He's great in the ring. I'm not taking away from his in-ring work at all, but They let him shine like the star he is, and he got made an even bigger star because of that spot. The other burial, the TNA World Championship. You can't bury something that's been dead for a decade. No one cares about the TNA Championship. And I say no one in a general sense. There are still some TNA fans, and those are probably the ones crying on the internet that they bury the champ. TNA is the minor leagues. It just is. It's bigger leagues than I'm in. I would happily take a job there. I'm not knocking anyone at TNA, but there is a clearly established hierarchy of people watching wrestling. No one expects the TNA champion to show up and go 20 minutes in a classic with Randy Orton at his 20th WrestleMania. You got the title out there. You got your guy, Joe Hendry, that's holding the title over. No one got buried. Everyone came out of this looking good. If anything, some people that were watching that saw this charismatic guy and were like, I want to see more, they might tune into TNA now. Yeah. But as we've talked about on the show, TNA is at some point in the near future just getting purchased by WWE. They're going to be NXT Nashville or something like that. That's just that's what they are.
They're already working it into NXT. They have like all these NXT cross matches. They have a champion versus champion at the next pay-per-view, right? Because Joe Hendry came out and got face to face with Omos on the NXT after STand Deliver WrestleMania weekend, right? You got JC James going to be there fighting whoever on it's on its way. It's not since Anthem's befuddlement of managing TNA in the past year and a half, 2 years, right? Yeah, they're on par with NXT. And that's a compliment for them as far as what they've got.
Yeah, that was more eyes that have been on the TNA World title since maybe ever.
Yeah, you just got put things in perspective. When's the last time the TNA World Heavyweight Championship was in front of 66,200 and whatever people, right? However many there were. It rhymes with ever. It's like never happened.
Yep.
Never happened. You can combine all of this year and maybe even all of last year's pay-per-views and not even get to 66,000. I mean, for real. Like, let's just be real about this. And you got to think about all the people who were watching the PLE. So millions of people. More people saw Joe Hendry maybe for the first time. Hopefully they saw him on NXT and maybe some on TNA and definitely on TikTok. Dude, this was a win. I don't care. And to your point, you got shit in. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us and you've never listened to our show before, Austin Reddick is a professional wrestler. He has been around this game for a long time. He knows exactly what he's talking about. So when he speaks, we should listen.
That's right. The designated in-ring correspondent of Total Spotfest.
You want to get that
and
knowledge.
Member just the FWO.
Get. Okay, all right. Settle down there. Yeah. All right, we want to get that knowledge coming out of that stash and just let it absorb into your body.
Really quick too. While I'm spewing some knowledge here, we're gonna veer slightly. We're gonna veer slightly off WrestleMania for a second to address something else that got announced over the weekend. Not the AAA acquisition, which we'll probably get to later or in due course.
Yeah, momentarily, yep.
The new WWE show that's coming out, where they are like recording backstage and actually.
The writer's room show.
Just in case anyone is thinking otherwise, that is not killing the business. Everyone knows it's fake. And WWE's sole purpose these days is to produce content. It's not to sell pay-per-views. It's not even to get TV ratings. It's just to keep churning out content. And there are a lot of folks that watch WWE that are very interested in seeing that exact show. So don't worry. Pro wrestling is not dying because WWE is filming Triple H watching Cody Rhodes selling after a ladder bump. Pro wrestling will still be fine.
What do you mean it's fake?
As in, this shit is not real.
It's all real.
Nah.
Uh-oh.
Nah.
The
only thing that's real is Joe Hendry.
Santa. You just killed Santa Claus on him.
Yeah. Yeah, next thing you know, you're going to tell me the Easter Bunny isn't real.
So moving right along here, main event of the night. And they didn't make the announcement earlier in the evening, which I worked Saturday, so I didn't catch the pre-show, the Super Bowl linked 15 hours of pre-show, where the fuck they had running, right? Where they actually had the formal announcement with everything. But, ladies and gentlemen, WWE just bought AAA. Bro.
That's huge.
Bro.
They've already released Alberto Del Rio, by the way. That's
That would have been a funny surprise opponent for Randy Orton.
Del
Rio went out there and ate an RKO in 3 minutes and lost the AAA World title to Randy Orton.
I think the crowd would have went nuts because, like, he's the ultimate heel and he's just a big piece. So, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, AAA, who did have a work relationship with AEW as well as New Japan, right? You know, and no, they are owned by WWE now. They already announced Worlds Collide is going to be happening in LA this year. It's going to be NXT versus AAA. So, yeah, and Vikingo was there night 2. You got to see him on the sidelines. And Jamie and I got the pleasure of seeing Vikingo versus Kenny Omega live here in Kansas City. And my God,
I've always witnessed it.
if you've never seen Vikingo, go check it out. But I thought it was great. What'd you guys? So I mean, WWE just going world domination on our asses here. Is this in response to some stuff that's going on with other AEWs, or is this just WWE just trying to be because they've been doing a lot more global stuff, period, right? They do a lot more European shows. They've been wanting to get into Mexico and Central America more, right? Do you feel it's more of that, or do you think this is just them trying to corner the business again?
I think more than anything, this is a library acquisition.
Okay.
Because they are worldwide on Netflix, because everywhere outside the U.S. got to watch WrestleMania on Netflix. And they are limited with what kind of library they can put on Netflix from their own stuff, because a lot of it is still on Peacock until the end of this year. Yeah. I'm hoping this means we are going to get a catalog of AAA on Netflix or somewhere where I can just stream it on demand, which I would be here for. As far as an ongoing in-ring partnership, I don't know if your regular WWE crowd is going to be that interested in watching actual Lucha Libre.
Well said. When I first thought about this, I was just I automatically went out there and looked up AAA's roster, and it's like a whole bunch of people the United States does not know, other than 2 or 3 guys, right? Like Kingo, Psycho Clown. Everybody knows Psycho Clown. At least you should. And that's pretty much it, right? And then the new La Parca.
Right.
So they have a few out there, of course, but for the most part, they don't know. But there's been big names who've rolled through there, and people who've cut their teeth that are now in WWE. So I instantly went right to that library idea too. Like, that makes so much sense. And what it could also do is expand the reach of NXT, because honestly, AAA and NXT are probably similar in level, except for like a handful of like really good guys or really good women. So it will help the reach of those wrestlers, and also it's a good farming system to bring in solid Mexican and Hispanic wrestlers to, of course, tap into that piece. I mean, they literally just got Penta and Rey Fénix, and they were growing a stable of Lucha Libre wrestlers and luchadors, and it just makes a lot of sense that way. Cultivating it for WWE, I don't know exactly the benefit what AAA gets other than money, honestly.
AAA gets a lot of money, and they get better stability promotion. You talk about putting on level with NXT. The reality is, though, in Mexico, AAA is on level with WWE. Like AAA, like especially like pre-COVID AAA, right? Was selling out, football Azteca, right? They were selling out football stadiums for Triple Mania.
To your point, Backwoods Squatch even says, like, I've been told AAA is very Americanized Lucha Libre, and CMLL is very more traditional.
It is.
And
yes,
you're absolutely right. Like, it literally AEW and WWE. It's like very, very much that way. So
100%.
Whoever told you that's a smart person.
Yeah, CMLL is 90-something years old, right? They're the oldest wrestling organization in North America, right? AAA is the big one, though. That is, but they are in Mexico. They are big, right? Outside of Mexico, not. So the benefits both ways for this. So now the rest of the world gets to go back and see AAA wrestling for all its glory, because it's fantastic.
So I think the best move for WWE is to not change much with AAA.
Yeah,
because
don't touch it.
One problem they have historically had was getting too much traction in Mexico. Because if it's not a Mexican company, the Mexican fans don't really want it. They tried this back in 97, almost 30 years ago, partnering with AAA, and they started their own show down there, and no one watched because they want a Mexican company. So if it's just AAA under the WB TKO umbrella, and they can put their library out, but they largely get to run the same with maybe a little bit more budget, maybe bring in the occasional WB roster member, that's something I would like to see, especially some of these. I was joking about Randy Orton hitting Alberto Del Rio with an RKO and taking the AAA title at Mania. But some of these people that have been around for a long time, send them down for a AAA run just to get in front of new faces. They'll get a nice payday out of it. I think you could do that in small doses, sending your American talent down there for programs and runs. There's been rumors that they're going to rebrand it NXT Mexico or something like that.
Oh, no.
I hope that doesn't happen. I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, so
largely leave it alone. Do what you can to enhance it a little bit, but just have your other promotion in another country that does well and give us the library.
Yeah.
I would watch so much AAA.
Yeah, library fantastic. There's very, very long running precedent of American wrestlers going down there. Chris Jericho, for example, right? Both CMLL and AAA have had that. They've had American wrestlers come down. Brian Cage has done a lot of stuff in AAA.
Kenny Omega.
Sam Adonis has been down
Kenny
there for
Omega,
a while.
Kenny Omega was the AAA Mega Champion, right? He's having so many, right? And female wrestlers too, right? They've gone down there, done all that stuff as well. So, yeah, I'm with you. Do not rename it. Good God, don't rename it, because you're right. Mexican audience is very similar to Japanese audience, right? They don't mind you coming over and doing a visit with them, but you change over their stuff, they're going to stop watching it. And same thing over there. Somebody bought New Japan and then changed it to something else, called it WWE Japan. Oh, God, they would revolt, right?
Absolutely.
So please don't.
We got Backwoods Squad saying his sources say CMLL is currently number 1. I don't know what the numbers say. I'm going to take your word for it. I will say I was just browsing YouTube in bed the other night, and there was a live CMLL show on, and it was absolute flames. So, CMLL is killing it right now.
Yeah.
David Arquette trained in Mexico. Hey, he got he got cut spraying aortic blood all over the place. He's fine.
He's okay. He's all right. He's good. Well,
the thing is better than fine. He is a treasure.
But the great thing is that the great thing about this, no matter what, and the good thing for WWE is that wrestling is embedded into the Mexican culture. So even if CML is bigger now, right? It does, we're splitting hairs here because they're still big deals. All right. So the finale match of night 1 was the Paul Heyman on a stick match. That's how I called it in our pick sheet, But CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. One thing I really want to say is that you didn't really have, even though you did have live in living color, which is great, right? Not the first time they've done that. Especially after they teased doing Kill Switch Engage on that little video package. I was like, yes, give me his Kill Switch entrance, but no, whatever. You didn't really have like two over the top entrances this WrestleMania, right? You had a couple car pull ups, some stuff, but nothing like over the top. Which
there was very little that had that WrestleMania feeling.
Yeah.
Even though there was a lot of good between both nights, like there was a lot of stuff I enjoyed, but you were missing the over the top entrances. You were missing the random backstage segments with random legends showing up and things like that. It felt like they took away a lot of the fun of WrestleMania so they could tell you about Wingstop or Dude Wipes or Clash of Clans or whatever promo copy Michael Cole was reading for 5 minutes at a time.
So many promos. Everybody who dogged AEW for putting like some like 4 little logos on their thing 2 years ago, you could shut up now because that mat was so covered with logos it was almost distracting. But this match I felt was the best match of night one. I loved it. I thought the ending was just chef's kiss fantastic. What'd you boys think?
Megan would also agree that it was the perfect ending because before the match even started, she's like, Seth Rollins is going to win because Heyman's going to help him, and they're going to walk out together. And she's like, I'm Triple H. I'm Triple H. I know what I'm talking about. I'm Triple H. She said that like no less than 10 times. It was honestly even annoying for me. But
I mean,
that's your progeny.
She might as well have pointed to the sky and went blue. I called it. Like, this was the most obvious finish to the match, but this is one of those times where the most obvious finish is the best finish.
So good.
This gave you the most to do going forward. It was the right call. Seth Rollins needed a win as well. He's been kind of losing quite a bit over the last year or so. He's still one of your top guys. The match was fantastic. The finish was the best version of what WWE likes to do in these kind of matches. The kind of the big dramatic moments and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's absolutely fun triple threat throughout.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into the night 2 here with JJ.
Can we talk about night 2 real quick? How we had 2 matches with the exact same finish.
Yes.
And both of them were for titles.
You can.
Did you even know that?
Absolutely. The first one was the better one because it's the first one that had that finish.
Well, sorry, one was a moonsault, one was a frog spot.
It was the exact same finish.
Damn finish.
Exact same finish. Io retained her title and Dom won the title, right? You know?
I wanted Braun to win after he did the Steiner Math promo.
I mean,
I picked Dom.
The Steiner Math promo was great. I was expecting a lot more, not going to lie, from that 4-way match. I don't know. It didn't. It felt like a watered down version of what those 4 men could have actually done.
That's fair. I think you could have gotten more out of that match. I think it would have come at the expense in time of the women's 3-way though. Probably, and that women's 3-way was perfection.
You give me that women's 3-way and I'll take it, right? And I thought they were all great together. Of course, everybody knows how big of an EO stan I am, so that's no surprise. But
let me pose this question to you.
Yeah.
That triple threat or Mercedes versus Athena? Which one's better?
Triple threat.
Triple threat. It's one of the best women's matches I've seen in a while.
You know, in my head, it should be closer, but it's not. That match was fucking awesome.
I think if you're just in a vacuum looking at the in-ring work from bell to bell, it's very close. The triple threat is marginally better. When you add in the extra of it was at WrestleMania, it was for a title, it made it bigger and it made it feel more important. Because Mercedes and Athena was absolute flames, but that triple threat it's also Mercedes and Athena was absolute flames on a show where you got a bunch of other matches that were absolute flames. And this triple threat was absolute flames on a show.
Standout. Yeah, it was a standout match by far.
Where you didn't get as much good wrestling. Not that it was bad. But,
plus you had 2 top wrestlers and you had 3 top wrestlers because Rhea, Bianca, Io nobody can second guess how good each of them are individually. So you had a third component in the mix no matter what, right? 3 is more than 2, but they played so well off each other. And yeah, I agree with everything Austin said about that. So
it was so good. Like
Yeah.
it was just so good.
That was in. Where would y'all rate that in the all-time Mania matches?
Oh God, you're asking me. That's a really
It's
deep
probably
question.
the best women's match ever, except for I don't know, that Bianca Sasha Banks match.
Yeah,
I would definitely put it top 10 for sure. Maybe top 5.
Top 5 women matches for sure.
Oh, easily.
You I don't think you go top 5 all time because you got 2 Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels matches.
Yeah, I don't know. You're talking 41 years of catalog here to try and put this one top 10. That's a great question. I want Chad to debate that while we keep going here because I don't want to give an answer.
I would definitely put it top 10 all-time Mania matches regardless of gender.
Wow.
I don't think it would crack top 5, but top 10 for sure.
Oh.
I would only put one of those Undertaker Shawn Michaels matches in the top 10. It was the first one. Second one was good, but the second one was basically just a remix of the first one. And you knew what was happening. You kind of knew the first time Shawn Michaels would win it, but they made you believe. The second one was a lot of the same match as done again a year later. Still phenomenal, but only the first one goes to the top 10 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I think out of my top 5, 4 of them have Shawn Michaels present in them.
Shocker. Wow.
It's Mr. WrestleMania for a reason.
Am I wrong though?
I am not going to willy-nilly throw out any matches here because that's too big of a catalog for me to start, I would want to do my due diligence on that here. One match I will not add to that was going to be Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I really didn't care at all. I didn't give I actually went and made dinner during this match. And I'm glad I did because I didn't miss. And I understand it, but Logan Paul's just, and I love me AJ Styles. I don't know. I feel like we need to move AJ maybe to his final run thing. It's I'll put him. Yeah, give him a final run AEW and then boom.
Here's a fun one. AJ and Bailey for Mariah May and Kyle Fletcher. Would you make that deal?
Yes.
I think everybody wins.
Everybody wins on that one.
I don't want to give up Kyle Fletcher.
You got to give up someone good to get AJ. I'm not throwing him in there to get rid of him because he's phenomenal, but you've got to get no pun intended. But
pun intended.
You got to give up something to get something. I think swapping those for everybody wins.
I hear you.
But
yeah,
I wasn't interested in this match, but I was interested in the response afterwards from one Karrion Kross, who ended it as Killer Kross. And he's been doing the Lord's work lately. I don't know if you guys have been watching him lately. Like his promo work,
like 6 months.
It has been so damn good. They're letting him go.
Oh, he's been doing character backtracking, which is the best thing for him because he got away from all the shit they've made him do over the past 3, 4, 5 years. Right, got him back to his NXT entrance. He's got room to actually say stuff now instead of just come out here and be big strong man. Oh man, it's so good, so good.
I love with this gimmick of him just being the devil on the shoulder of every conflicted babyface.
Absolutely.
So good.
Which is going to get him stable, but they got to push him. And to his point, like how he buried Logan Paul was not only perfect, but and this is where I wanted to get your opinion, Austin, as somebody who's been wrestling for a long time. It just felt real. Like it felt like more of a shoot than just anything because it felt like it was directly from the heart.
It did. I don't think it was a shoot in the sense of no one knew it was going to happen. I think he was because he was one too that got brought back in after Triple H took over. I think he's a Triple H guy. I think they've seen the talent in his promos and the outside of wrestling stuff he's done. He's been on podcasts and things like that. I think they saw that they had something there and were like, go on this show and get us something. And I think he is a good contrast to one of the main problems with, I say problems. They're making tons of money, so WWE doesn't really have problems. But the things that make me not a regular viewer of WWE is there is no depth to any character.
Nope.
And he is like one of the very few characters that isn't just surface level and shallow. And he's got actual thoughts. And he's got actual motivations. And it's such a breath of fresh air that you're immediately drawn to it.
I mean, hell, when he was released the last time before Triple H brought him back, he started a Twitch channel. You know what he did on his Twitch channel? He did workout advice and life tips. He was a fucking life coach on Twitch. I mean, and it was good. I subscribed to him. It was good shit. It was like, holy hell, this man's fantastic, right?
Yeah, hopefully they do something with him because he's too talented to sit on the sidelines.
Guy in the suit in the production truck in the back, go fuck yourself. Sincerely, Killer Kross. Like when he did that, I'm like, well, one, that's love language to me because as we talked, like if I get somebody to say go fuck yourself, like saying I love you in my house, in my dysfunctional family, I grew up. So I'm forever going to be a Killer Kross fan. And I'm going to only refer to him as Killer Kross. I liked him as Killer Kross in TNA. And now he's being Killer Kross now. He's no longer carrying. He's Killer
Kross is the
He's
best.
Another one that did a run down in AAA.
He did.
And he was great down in AAA.
Oh, he was amazing in AAA. He was so good. If you get that catalog, folks, go watch Killer Kross at AAA. He was so good. Oh, they loved him. Ooh.
One of those random nights, I had the AAA Pluto channel up, which haven't mentioned in a few weeks. Out Backwoods Squatch, if you want to catch some AAA, Pluto TV, absolutely free. You got it. It'll trick you. You can't find it in sports. You have to go down the In Espanol. But there is a channel that just shows AAA wrestling. Last time I was tuning in, it was like from 2019. And Killer Kross was like the highlight of the show. There was one segment where he was shaking down the merch guy, wondering where his cut was of all the masks they were selling. He's so good down there.
Oh my God. That's so great.
All right, so we had the other women's match of the night was a tag team title match. There was a change because Bayley got jumped before and whatever. So Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Laya Valkyria, and probably the worst kept secret for a return, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, you threw this one out because only one person got it right. Didn't matter because he won it all anyway.
The people that were originally listed on the match were not the people who were in the match. I am sorry.
I still think like we should let it roll. Like if it's announced, we let it roll. If there's a change, there's a change.
Well, we can talk about that. We can do that going forward. Okay.
Yeah, I think going
it
forward,
wouldn't have mattered to the stats, but I'm just saying
it would not have mattered at all. But going forward, we can definitely roll with that. I'm good with that. Okay. That if a change happens, bad luck on you.
JJ and change your pick if you want to.
Yeah.
If it's before the show starts. Has to be before the show starts. But yeah, and if you picked wrong and all of a sudden it changes, oh well, shit's on you. Too bad, right?
Yeah, it's on you. Exactly.
You gotta be paying attention.
All right, so moving forward, we're gonna go that way. So there's obviously, and especially with what they did on Raw the next night here, because everybody's talking about, shame on poor Bayley, all this stuff, Bayley. I do want to just say for the sake of record, Bayley does have a year and a half left on her WWE contract. So as much as I think it'd be better for her to move to AEW just because of the way that she kind of gets second fiddle, she's very much a company woman. She's not going anywhere anytime soon, people. Okay? This is all an angle. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, I mean, she was on Chris Van Vliet, and you could hear the frustration in her voice.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. She's also on the contract for the next year and a half. So, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, but Becky Lynch is back. Yay. I'm sorry. The Becky Lynch gimmick wore over on me a long time ago.
Well, we saw it born, and then we were ready for it to die.
We saw it born, and it was real good. And then shortly after, it was like, okay, stop this.
Yeah.
That goes back to the lack of depth in the characters. Becky Lynch got over with the man gimmick and never evolved from there.
The whole point of
the same person for like 6 years now.
The whole point of her
she's not that great wrestler.
Well, the thing is, the whole point of the man, she's not. The whole point of the man gimmick, it was a dig at Charlotte Flair because that's what her father. So that's the whole point. And then lost in the shuffle, and then it got over the top, and then it got I'm over it. But they did win the SmackDown or the women's titles, only to drop them the next night, right back to Liv and Raquel on a Bailey or on a Becky heel turn. So obviously this whole Bailey thing was a Becky angle. She obviously took out Becky. So there's that. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, move on.
Surprise good match of the weekend. Sin City street fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest.
I enjoyed that.
We need to protect Drew McIntyre at all costs.
So bored at work.
Still bored at work. Still bored at work. Yes. So good, dude. So good.
I mean, it wasn't the same street fight we see in AEW, but it was good.
Zero blood.
That was one thing that I felt this WrestleMania was missing is you had a few stories, at least one of them needed blood. Like you had Gunther and Jey Uso, where Gunther left Jimmy Uso lying in a pool of blood 2 weeks ago. Someone should have bled in that match. You could have got some blood in Cody and Cena. You didn't necessarily have to, but that probably would have helped a bit. If you're gonna have a hardcore style gimmick match on the show, let's get some blood there. You don't need it everywhere, but can we at least get a little blood? That's not just someone getting hit in the lip, because it felt like half the roster was bleeding out of their mouth at some point.
True.
That's fair.
So we go into the main event, okay? John Cena, Cody Rhodes, WWE Universal Championship, whatever the fuck they're calling it now, on the line, right? And it comes down to two people, okay? I've long been eliminated, okay? Big Rob, you got eliminated a couple matches earlier. Sorry about that. As did Jamie and Megan. So going into the match, you had Mr. I still have a perfect card, Austin Reddick, and one loss, Matt. Yes, Matt. So either Austin runs the table, walks out with the belt, or we go to a tiebreaker time of the total match, because Austin is the only person on this whole pick sheet that chose Cody Rhodes to retain. And I want to know, what were you drinking when you made that pick?
First of all, I didn't choose wrong. WWE chose wrong.
Oh, we're on this again. Okay.
WWE chose wrong. Not that there wasn't a good way to do Cena winning. It wasn't this way for sure. But I still had hope they were going to keep Cody going for a while, get Cena his title later on. Unfortunately, that's not what happened.
I was so underwhelmed with this match. I thought this was going to be an overbooked clusterfuck, and it wasn't.
Yep. It sucked.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call it for what it was. The match sucked. So, people love Cody Rhodes. Love Cody Rhodes. He wrestles like he's in the 80s. That's his style, except he has the Cody cutter.
Mm-hmm.
Works for him, right? People still love it. Some people don't. But when you mix in a John Cena who has not been wrestling very much lately and does not exactly have a range of moves, it just turned into a big heaping pile of boring bullshit.
These two do not match up well. No.
It's John Cena's not believable in ring as a heel in the year of our Lord 2025. Now on the mic, I enjoyed his promo on Monday. But during the and I mean the crowd was 50-50 at best between Cena and Cody. Like it didn't work.
All the talk that he did going into this match about heel, he did it for himself. He's not changing his outfit. That's all great, right? But then the end product is like, it's just the same John Cena. Oh.
Yes.
It's something. It wasn't even like a different edge to him. Even when you had who Travis Scott come out.
Travis Scott, yeah.
Whatever. I have zero belief that Travis Scott and John Cena have ever been in a room and had a conversation about anything in my life. I'm sorry. But the biggest shocker was so shenanigans happen. Cena wins, right? So going to tiebreaker, and here's the biggest shock of the night, ladies and gentlemen, is that not that this match sucked, but this match was so short, right? We all were like all over the place. We're going like 40, 50 minutes, all this stuff. Austin says it's gonna be 38 minutes and 1 second, but no, not Matt. Young Matt chose 17 minutes and 1 second. The match was 25 minutes and 7 seconds. So, yes, your champion, even though he's part of the FWO, I'm giving him a first-timer. Young little Matt, you've come so far. Congratulations.
For a guy that doesn't even really watch wrestling, too. What a comeback story.
3 shows.
Yes. And with that being said, he prepared a statement he would like for me to read on the show.
Did he really prepare a statement? Or
I have it right here.
Okay. All right. Let's see that statement, Jamie.
He says he's unbelievably honored how crazy he was able to win. I think that it was a fluke, but as long as I beat JJ, that's all that matters. FWO for life.
Matt, I want to congratulate you and tell you to go fuck yourself.
Very well written for a
little shit. Yeah.
Still can't believe that match was only
25 minutes. 25 minutes.
25.
And there was one extra run in.
And 3 of those 25 minutes were just Travis Scott walking to the ring.
Oh my God.
Dude's got a longer Mania entrance than the fucking Undertaker.
He had to let his whole song play.
Kill these games of druids.
You couldn't have gotten him the old WrestleMania card to get him down there a little bit quicker.
God, I missed the
I definitely
WrestleMania
thought
3
he was
card.
a real big deal right then.
Remember WrestleMania 3 under Ultimate Warrior coming out of that cart was the most awkward thing ever because it's like he's like running in place on the cart that's moving a lot slower than he was running. Well, and Austin said in our group chat, as mid as the WrestleMania was, night after WrestleMania for the first time in a long time was fucking fire. Convinced me to turn that shit on. Yeah, I mean, yes, of course he lured me in with Stephanie Vacour versus Io Sky, but still, okay,
Yeah, you're not gonna not cheer him for that.
No, I sure as shit did, and I'm glad I did.
And the sad part is, as much as I enjoyed Monday's Raw, I've got the thought in the back of my mind that is a ceiling that they are not going to reach very often.
No,
I'm going to tune in next week. I'm going to give them a shot, but I was burned after Elimination Chamber and the Raw after Elimination Chamber when it was just real bad the next week after that. But you know what? For those 3 hours on Monday night, they got me. That was a well done show from start to finish. And as I texted y'all in the middle, we got surprised Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Shirai, and it was outstanding.
So I will be at the next Monday Night Raw.
Oh, you going to Raw on Monday? Nice.
Yes. I got talked into it. I'm going with Megan and Matt. And we will be doing a little seat filling.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Nice. Hopefully it's good. Probably won't be, but we can.
Sucks.
Oh, we'll
Good.
find out next week. All right. Well, hey. There was another wrestling promotion that had a show on tonight. So Dynamite, which I know a lot of you tune in for this specifically, but we had Dynamite earlier this evening, gentlemen, and Austin summed it up pretty well when we were getting ready to go live here. That maybe commentary is not really the most necessary for this week's Dynamite because it was pretty damn awesome. it was a good episode of Dynamite.
So when I was looking at the card,
yeah,
and you know how I like to do this from time to time, I look at a card and I'm like, ooh, how would I book this?
Okay.
And to tell you that I got some of it right and some of it wrong, and I'm happy that I got it wrong, like that's pretty. They did me good because there's a couple times like, ooh, I'd like to see this happen, and it would build story here. They're like, no, we're going to do this, and we're going to build it this way. It's like, well done.
All right. Well, I want you to put those pins in, and I want you to tell me where they were. I'm interested to find out what those moments were. Did that moment was one of those including the opening of the show with Master P?
Say,
no.
Funny story.
Fun fact, that song is on my team's warm-up playlist.
Another fun fact, when I was a freshman in college, I actually did have a No Limit Soldier medallion with a chain.
Of course you did.
Of course, fuck yeah, I did. Is that not random enough? Of course I did. But no, SB came out, whatever, it introduced the ops. This is all this first segment. If you didn't think that this is building for a big blood and guts match, you obviously are not familiar with AEW because he comes out, the ops come out, Joe does a little thing with Master P, Death Riders come out, the Elite comes out, then you got Swerve and Kenny Omega come out, and all this stuff, right? We all find out that Joe's got his sights set on Moxley, so Dynamite in a couple weeks here in Chicago. There's going to be a match between Mox and Joe. All this is just basically window dressing for the eventual blood and guts match. Right?
Man, somebody called that.
That way.
I mean, but that's like Megan calling Seth Rollins leaving with Paul Heyman. Like,
low-hanging fruit.
Hey, we're teammates, so you gotta give that one to me, okay?
Low-hanging fruit, touche. Patriarchy promo. If you didn't watch Collision this weekend because there's a lot of WrestleMania stuff going on, understandable, but you would have missed Nick Wayne winning his first official title in the big leagues. He is now the Ring of Honor television champion, and of course, immediately gets the belt taken. And immediately gets the belt taken off his shoulder by Christian, who says that he needs to thank him for everything. And Nick does a little stand up and this and that, and they're teasing more of he's going to graduate from the patriarchy, but of course ends it with Christian walking away. I love my family, right? So still good stuff from that there.
I still think we're getting FTR versus Edge and Christian at All In.
I do too.
I do. I think they put enough groundwork in. I feel like, especially if you keep Sabian with him, right? I think you could take Nick Wayne off. He's not going to be a main guy, but you can have him run his own thing. ROH stuff. He's got an ROH title on his shoulder, right? I think we can go that way.
Oh, backwoods squatch. You got some time to wait. He ain't dropping that title until All In.
You gotta wait till at least we're done with Blood and Guts because we need them to go there. I don't know. The thing is, like the Death Riders,
Squatch gets us.
Yeah, he does. But the thing is, like you had them come out tonight in the middle of everything. It was the exact same thing they did with the titles, so it just furthers the point. It's not like it's a terrible idea. It's just
The problem with the Death Riders angle is you kind of just kick the tires for 3 months, not doing much. Like it started off real cool, and then it was just the same bullshit for like 3 months. And now you're getting Mox and Joe, which that's awesome. But at this point, most people are checked out on that.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter, you know? I mean,
it was too slow of a burn. Like, I understand they're trying to do a slow burn, but it was too slow and awkward. I think that's probably more the thing. Like, I think everybody's so confused on what they're trying to accomplish because we still don't even know. Like in the beginning, oh, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than everybody, blah blah blah. But like, they never really brought it home for the common folk like myself to figure that one out. Like, hey, what's the goal? And they just kind of went off and start doing their own thing, and it's just like, I'm ready for it to be over and just have them just be that guy who's not afraid to throw a burlap sack over somebody's face and beat the shit out of them. Like, that's what they need to be. They don't need a belt for that.
The other problem is, so it started off as I'm daring one of these young guys to step up and take it. In the first 2 months, you got Darby and Orange Cassidy and some of the other young guys stepping up trying to take it. But none of your like top talent showed up until a week ago. Now you've got Ospreay coming out. Now you've got Kenny Omega coming out. Now you got Swerve coming out. But you had all that time in the middle where there was nothing going on, and you still could have pivoted. And the Cope storyline, I think we touched on this a bit, would have been the perfect time to call out Mox. This isn't about the young guys. This isn't about AEW. This is about you. You just want to be the world champion. Will do anything to keep it. And without that pushback, the story is just drug on. You're just seeing all these awesome talents, like we had Takeshita and Takeshita and Ospreay. You had Omega, Ricochet. You had all these awesome matches with this really great talent, and your world title has not been seen since November or October, end of October, not even November, end of October. But we got 3 more months to wait, unfortunately.
3 more months, and then eventually it's going to come to an end. Okay, now you had Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe, and I do want to just, for the record, go on here and say, Ricochet begins this match by going to the crowd, to another bald gentleman, to point out the fact Mark Briscoe is bald too. Okay, all right. These bald chants are unnecessary. They are, borderline racist. They are not needed in this line in this story at all. I don't know where the crowd's coming off here, getting off on bald people. That is just, follically, abusing, all these people over here. But
as a long-standing member of the follically challenged, I do have to say, this is some of the most old school pro wrestling shit ever. Like, literally just taking something like being bald on a show where there are a dozen or so other bald dudes, and getting this over with the crowd. Like, that is classic pro wrestling 101. It's so good.
I don't know who I saw, but I saw a TikTok clip, Jamie, of something that put together the last like 4 or 5 weeks of all the slaps people have done on Ricochet's bald head. It was a work of art. Okay,
it's great, and as one of the members of the non-politically challenged, I thought they were great. I thought it was just hilarious. But I do want to call out the TikTok viral sensation. The professor Nick Harrison was the guy who was standing by. That guy's actually kind of famous. He's a big Bills fan too, so I guess I got put up with that. But he's pretty funny. Actually, I follow him on TikTok. So yeah, that was good. This is one of the ones that they got me. They went in a completely different direction. I was here for it.
With Mark Briscoe winning, was it because of the way that they did the whole like post-match angle, or was it just? Yeah,
I was expecting something to happen afterwards. I wasn't expecting the person to make the save. I was honestly expecting his tag team partner. I was expecting more Mike Bailey. But honestly, I loved it. I thought that was very well crafted. And honestly, like, if you can give me more Kevin Knight in my life, that guy might have the best frog splash currently in the active roster.
Oh, the 90-degree turn frogs. Oh man, Kevin Knight is just a treasure. It's a refreshing thing for everybody that was dogging on it. This past weekend, people were dogging about how AEW let people go and all these things. On Stand and Deliver, especially on Stand and Deliver. About all this stuff and how everybody's defecting. Nobody's going to AEW anymore. I heard from multiple people. Right, my watch alongs I was doing. Kevin Knight's coming in, the fresh face from Japan. So it's like just enjoy wrestling, people. Just enjoy wrestling. And I enjoyed they can't. I enjoyed the piss out of wrestling though for the Young Bucks versus Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. As much as I love the main event, this was my match of the night. Because oh my god. Like the super kick spot they did back and forth, super kick party skit, oh my god. That so many good. This was so good. This is classic Young Bucks, but fantastic dance partners, Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight.
I think you hit it on the head with this is classic Young Bucks. Like that was the kind of Young Bucks match. Which obviously they were gone for like 3 months, but
sure,
that's the kind of Young Bucks match that like got the Young Bucks over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it was great to just see that on regular weekly pro wrestling TV. Yeah, that match was phenomenal. Same with Ricochet and Mark Briscoe is phenomenal too. And I love that Mark Briscoe went over. Ricochet can eat that loss without losing anything. Mark Briscoe is great as a guy that you never know when he's going to beat somebody. Mm-hmm. Like he beat Kyle Fletcher during the Continental Classic.
Right.
Like I love that. And this is something you don't get from WWE, which different products, apples to oranges, they're doing different things. But in AEW, a lot of the times you kind of know who's going to win, but you never know for sure. And they're not afraid to have guys just get beat sometimes because that happens in pro wrestling. And it was so refreshing. You never saw Mark Briscoe winning that coming, and it was so refreshing when he did.
Right. And you get a Ricochet run in to help the Bucks win, right? So they're pulling an angle here, Ricochet and Kevin Knight. Okay, let's go. Because give me that match, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, that match, I thought they were going to flip it and have Kenny Omega cost the Bucks the win.
See, all right, so there you go.
And again, like the Ricochet piece is like way better than what I thought. Like I thought, oh hey, we're going to continue to get the blood and guts piece, but yeah, no, yes, thank you.
All right, so you did have FTR had a promo, okay, and begrudging Tony Schiavone's out in the ring, calling him FTR, quickly interrupted by one Mr. Stokley Hathaway. I know to the absolute chagrin of both my counterparts here, one of them even more than the other, but Stokley Hathaway comes out, introduces them. And they start doing some shtick, they're trying to make good with Tony Schiavone. And, he was talking about how they were unjustifiably fined and suspended. And that's all going to be taken care of because he is now their manager. I know
agent.
Jamie's this. Oh, their agent. Excuse me. Their agent. Okay. Whatever. And then they bring into the ring the Rock and Roll Express, who Dax does a very Jamie-esque, sort of promo with them. If you ever wondered in real life how Jamie would be, that's how he would be if he was a wrestler. Okay, 100%. That the whole Dax promo, that would be Jamie. Okay.
Oh, would be sarcastically condescending right to your face, but also trying to be like backhandedly be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am
I wrong, Austin?
No, that's 100% accurate. And pro wrestling needs that.
So, of course, this is the long build up. They're going to beat up the Rock and Roll Express, and they do. I could have sworn they've done this before to the Rock and Roll Express. Am I mistaken?
The Death Riders tried to kill him a few months ago.
Death Riders.
Okay.
I gotta say, Stokley with FTR is the pairing I did not know I needed.
Again,
right?
This is another one. When I saw Stokley come out, I was like, "Oh shit! Why have I never thought of
in
it?"
the tracksuit too. The tracksuit was a great touch.
The tracksuit was fantastic.
Tracksuit. Because we've seen heel FTR before, and they're great. They're better as heels. I'm glad they're heels. This is, and this kind of goes back to I forgot who we brought up about, but we were talking about last week how Bobby Heenan made Ric Flair better, even though Ric Flair could talk for himself.
True.
I think Stoke makes FTR even better, even though they can cut a fine promo. They're great heels. It's a great pairing, and I'm so glad we got that.
Yeah, and you got to think like when the FTR was when the formation of the Pinnacle happened with FTR, they had Tully as their manager at the time, right? You know, so having an agent in Stokley, I think it's totally fine. Of course, that does bring questions about if we're going to see the Pinnacle again here. And, of course, that ends up with, Adam Cole and what are they calling themselves now? Pinnacle Prophets?
Paragon.
Sure.
For some reason. I don't get it, but all right.
It's whatever. They run out, so they're going to continue that storyline, which is I'm fine with that. You're actually giving him something to do, right? Whatever. It's, but speaking of Pinnacle, you did have a Hurt Syndicate promo later on. So they start the program. So Bobby's going to talk, interrupted by Max driving a Z06 into the back of the arena. Here he comes out, right, and wants those thumbs up. Sheldon's now a thumbs up. He wants 3 thumbs up. So he offers Bobby. He has actually a pretty good back and forth with Bobby on that. He actually says the words, "I'm sorry." And then offers the Corvette for a thumbs up from Bobby Lashley. To which he wants to see the keys. They're with the valet. They go back. He gives him a thumbs down and steals his car.
Perfect. It makes the Hurt Syndicate that much more over.
They're just doing what they're doing, and it's all kind of status quo. But then you immediately follow that up with a promo. Renee Paquette promo with Hangman Page, which of course means someone's going to interrupt, right? Because that's the only thing that can happen with a Renee interview with anybody, especially Hangman Page. Interrupted by MJF, interestingly enough. And they bar back and forth in a lot of telling ways that kind of, hint at what the plan is for the next few months here, I think. What were your guys' thoughts about MJF and Hanger's face-off this time?
I don't think it has to lead to something in the near future.
See, just in case.
I enjoy when a pro wrestling show has wrestlers that have a memory longer than a goldfish. And I enjoy this random backstage. Like, they run each other back. Of course, Mac's going to talk some shit. Be like, hey, we're 1-1. Next time I'm going to get you. I don't think it has to be paid off immediately. I wish we got more of that. Like, anytime 2 characters run into each other, if there's some somewhat recent shit or some historical shit you can bring it up. Just keep it there a little bit, and you can always go back to it later. I don't think we're getting to that in the very near future, because I still think we're getting the Pinnacle reforming, and it'll probably lead to FTR versus Hurt Syndicate at Double or Nothing.
Yeah. That makes the most sense, at least in my eyes. I think one of the best things I would do, and this honestly is kind of like something I would do, is allow some of these older stories, like things that have, like, people crossing paths, let's live rent free in your head. Just have it there.
Mm-hmm.
It could happen. It could not happen. You don't know. You don't know if it's gonna happen. And that kind of promo right there is perfect for that, because it just leaves that little gray to exactly what you're saying, JJ. Of, oh, is this gonna happen now or what? Like, it's living rent free. It's just masterpiece.
And that's what I like. That's what they've continued to do, and they're still doing with Swerve and Hanger, right? And I think this is the moral of the story is Hanger is the future of the company, right? He is their John Cena 15 years from now, right? He was always meant to be the big guy. They named one of the first one of their centerpiece pay-per-views. One of the first when they had 4 annuals, right? One was named after a skit he did on fucking Being the Elite, for God's sake. Okay, so you're showing up in your full gear,
That was so great.
So I feel like that being aside, I like that doing some of this stuff here, not just for Hanger, but they can do it for others as well. That, hey, this is a thing. One thing that always bothered me about stuff, and I'm not trying to single out WWE, but they're by far the worst offender of this, is as soon as something ends and you get into something else, you forget the other thing happened, right?
Absolutely.
Like, remember when Edge came back and nobody seemed to remember that him and John Cena had a blood feud like 6 years prior, right? Wasn't even brought up, right? And I'm just like, that happened. That was a thing, right?
Yeah,
there was a
because
live sex celebration in the middle of that.
I think it was the Authority was in the ring and they were threatening to concerto Edge to get John Cena to agree to something. And he was like, oh no, don't. Like, Edge hadn't tried to end Cena's career a dozen times in the years before that. Yeah, just make it matter.
So I like the fact that you keep these little nuggets out there, and I'm with Jamie. You can do them in passages every once in a while. Just have something in there, like a little, so you have that little thing. And it's so much more impactful than Hanger talking about how he's going to kick Kyle Fletcher's ass or whatever.
Well, I have to respond to Squatch here.
Okay, I was going to do the same. Go ahead.
So, basically, what they're going to do is you have these two guys.
Oh, Jesus
who hate
Christ.
each other. They hate each other. We're going to make them come together and be a tag team. And we're going to call them the Mega Powers. And then they're going to win the gold together. But they hated each other. Now they love each other. Only to later hate each other again. And we spin it up again.
Hey, I'm going to respond to a difference back with Squat's question. He did ask, what does MJF or the Hurt Syndicate get from the Alliance? Shouldn't they be looking for solid feuds? I'm pretty sure where we're going here is in the next week or two, MJF is going to get that third thumbs up. And that's when FTR is running out and attacking him. Because the most MJF shit ever is, you're going to make me dance for your approval? Cool. As soon as I get it, I'm turning on you. Like, that seems like in line with what we get from MJF. It sets up a fun title feud for the Hurt Syndicate with FTR. That whole pairing, the new remade Pinnacle, gives MJF some backup. It just gives you interesting things to do forward.
Yep.
And Squatch, thank you for allowing me to do my Bruce Pritchard. It's been a hot minute.
It has not been long enough. Another fun tag team match of Brody King and Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita and apparently official member of the Don Callis family, Josh Alexander. Super fun tag match all around. Like, I don't know what else you want.
This is the match of the night till the main event.
Oh, really? You're going with this for the match of the night? Okay, before the main event.
No, until the main event. The main event's
until the main event. Yeah.
That main event was fucking
now,
flames.
Were you surprised to see Alexander and Takeshita win this?
Yes, but no.
No.
I really wasn't.
No. Like, it was a good call. You can't have the Don Callis family eating losses all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you've got a good enough stable of heels there that if they lose too often, they all become Lance Archer. And you only need one Lance Archer in the Don Callis family.
You need Don Callis's Lance Archer Emporium over here,
and you really can't have Josh Alexander drop both of his first matches in AEW.
Well, no, he won. They won their tag match on Saturday.
Well, Dynamite, sorry.
Right. Plus, he didn't pin Ospreay, so there's that.
Exactly.
So, now, before the main event, a little bit earlier in the night, you did have a Tony Storm promo. I don't know if you guys caught this, but she is going to be doing a thing with Turner movie for this little sci-fi show that they're premiering at the Chinese theater, whatever it is. Oh, Empire Strikes Back. Oh yes, okay. I don't know if you caught what she said there, because she went really strict through it, but she was getting into what she's going to do, and the words from her mouth that I absolutely rewound and wrote down were, "Before I yank Ben Mankiewicz." So
I caught that. And it was glorious.
Yeah, just telling the world she's gonna give Mankiewicz a handy. So there's that. God bless you, Tony Storm. So good.
What was the other line? It was something along the lines of, "There's not an empire big enough to strike this back."
Yeah.
Oh yes, she did say that. Yes.
She just the
treasure.
It's just
And you guys didn't want the timeless gimmick her back anymore. And I'm living my best life. Like, I'm so glad we're still timeless.
We knew it was going to be good.
Yeah, I still don't regret my thoughts that it would have been nice for her to move on to something new. But I mean, this is still not bad. Like, she's going to kill it no matter what she does.
Well, apparently she's gonna kill Ben Mankiewicz's little Mankiewicz. So there's that. Main event was the other semifinal in the women's Owen. Winner's going to face Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing. Jamie Hayter, Kris Statlander. Let's fucking go. Is this officially saying Jamie Hayter's back, boys, or what?
No, this is officially saying Jamie Hayter's going to lose to Mercedes Moné at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but yeah.
And I agree with Backwoods Squatch. I think it should have been Stat.
No, I disagree too. I think it should have been Hayter. I think Hayter should beat Mercedes at Double or Nothing, maybe with an Athena assist. But I would love to see
that. I feel like we are trucking towards Mercedes and Tony at All In, which
I don't.
As we talked about last week, I don't want both women's titles in the same match, but I feel like that's where we're going.
Yeah, and my whole thing is, I thought no matter what, whoever wins this match is the sacrificial lamb for Mercedes.
Unfortunately, you're probably correct.
So deductive reasoning says I cannot have Stat lose to her 3 times, and because the first 2 were just classics, you can't do a third one that's a classic that ends in the same result. So Jamie Hayter's got to win here, and this just 100% with that win right there solidifies that Jamie Hayter is going to lose a Double or Nothing.
I mean, we can still hope Athena gets involved, and then we get Hayter stormed and Athena Mercedes too at All In. We can hope.
Yeah, and let's go with that. Yes,
there is a non-zero chance that happens. It's not set in stone. It just really feels like they're building to Tony and Mercedes.
100% feels like that's the writing's on the wall for that. Now, I am still begging hope. I always felt like they didn't really do the return of Jamie Hayter justice, and I think she, as big as she was when she had gotten injured, because she was, oh my God, you remember how over she was then? Oh my God. Homegrown too. Oh, so we shall see what happens. The match was great though. The match was fantastic. My God, these 2 women, they talk about good pairings. These 2 paired so well together. Oh,
they're similar styles, just in different bodies. That's all there is to it. What's not to love about this? And
exactly.
Stat is the ultimate chameleon. She's the best worker in AEW. We've gone on record to say that 1,000 times since the bunny's gone. There you go. I got you.
Yeah. Show that respect to the bunny.
But she's the best worker, and Jamie was one of the best workers before she got hurt. So it's like you knew this was going to be magic in a bottle, and it was.
Sure was.
I was just surprised by this result because they really haven't done much to heat Jamie Hayter up.
No,
exactly.
And she's been back since All In. Like, she has been back for like 8 months now, and they have not given her anything interesting to do. And a tournament is a great time to get some momentum and all that. I just assumed if she was going over here, they would have been heating her up a little bit more over the last at least like 8 weeks or so. But not sad about it. We got a dope ass women's match out of it. It's all good.
So we got a few weeks until Double or Nothing. We're about a month out because Double or Nothing is actually
exactly
30 days out. 30 days out.
Exactly
right?
a month.
So maybe they put some heat on Jamie going forward. You know, who knows? We'll see what happens. They'll have after next week, they're going to have the entire Owen final set. So the women's Owen final is now set for Double or Nothing. Men's final will be determined next week. You got Kyle Fletcher going up against Hayter in Norfolk, Virginia, right?
Virginia's for lovers.
Hey, Hayter's backyard. So we'll have the men's final set up for that. But yeah, interesting things going forward. So, anything else you guys want to get to? We covered a whole lot of wrestling, I know.
One more thing for me.
Go for it.
Rest in peace, Steve Mongo McMichael.
Indeed.
Happened today.
Mongo is up there, if not at the top of the list of celebrities and athletes that came over to pro wrestling. And he never got good at it either, but you could tell he loved it and wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mongo was just the best.
He's a 4 horseman.
Yeah.
He's a horseman, that's for sure. And I mean, I shed a little tear when I saw Lex Luger get up and stand this past weekend.
That's pretty cool.
It was really cool, right?
I shed a little tear. The worker in my heart shed a little tear when I heard he didn't show up to go out on the stage at WrestleMania because WrestleCon was going to pay him more to go do an autograph signing. And that's a worker, brother.
That's a worker. It's a worker. But yeah, Mongo was many variants, many variations of the 4 horsemen. Everybody who was in the horsemen though is always considered a horseman. And yeah, Mongo It is a different time. It is very sad, but yes, rest in peace. Fantastic words. Well, we will be back next week. So, same bad time, same bad channel. Again, if it's your first time here, welcome. We do this every week, approximately half hour after Dynamite ends. Hit that subscribe button down below. If you want to follow us on the internet, you can find us at Total Spotfest pretty much anywhere we go. Give us a big thumbs up, and we will see you guys next week. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down Total Spotfest, I got 2 words for you. For life.
I hate you all so much, Matt. You could have joined me. You could have joined me in defiance of this man, but no.
No, he went to the evil side.
Yeah.
But yes,
He had carrying cross over his shoulder.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Later.